Hey everyone, it's Ellen here, and today I have a little bit of a different video for you. I actually just hit 900,000 subscribers on my Forever Faithful channel, and I'm so incredibly excited and grateful to all of you guys who have subscribed for helping me reach this milestone. So today I wanted to do a kind of reaction video and kind of tell you guys the story of how I got started on YouTube, the journey that I've taken to get to this point right now. I wanted to basically just start from the very beginning in 2008 when I created my very first video and put it online, and just kind of walk you through the story of how I got here today. So if you'd like to join me, then go ahead and grab your snacks and your drinks and we can walk this journey through together. I've been living with a shadow over hell. This is my very first video that I ever posted. I was only, I think, 18, a freshman in college. That's actually my dorm room. It's like super messy, and you can tell I'm a total Disney nerd. I've got my Hannah Montana and High School Musical posters back in there. I had this kind of haircut for like the longest time because I thought it was flattering on my face. At this time, YouTube was kind of people just posting random stuff. I loved watching people do covers of my favorite songs by my favorite artists. As I was watching these people do their covers, they would get comments from others who were just so supportive. They were like, oh my gosh, you sound so great. I mean, like, let's be honest, like I think anyone who starts a YouTube channel on some minute scale is kind of wanting a little bit of attention, but I definitely think I was in that camp where I thought, why not start a YouTube channel, start doing covers like these people that I'm seeing online, and then eventually if I can get a little bit of a following, I can share some of my original music that I've written myself. That was always my goal when starting YouTube. I was basically just singing to a lot of karaoke tracks that I found online, and that was the start of my channel, and this is a prime example of what I started doing when I started YouTube. So this video always makes me smile. It's the very first one that I did with my brother. That's who you see in the back there. He was kind of in a band when he was in high school. He picked up the guitar, learned it all by himself, and I always thought that the guitar was just more beautiful than the violin, which is what I had currently been playing at that time. He's kind of my inspiration for starting guitar, which eventually would lead to me making this channel and, you know, teaching it and everything. So I have to give huge props and thanks to my older brother for making that happen. His name is Albert. This is actually one of the first songs that I learned on guitar, was Tears in Heaven. If you've never heard my guitar journey story, I will link that in the corner here. But anyways, I think that this video really brings a smile to my face, not only because Albert is in it, but also because it's so incredibly blurry. Back then, I didn't have any fancy camera equipment or anything, so this was actually taken on my laptop. It was an Acer laptop with one of those flippy cameras, and then you can also see up there I have my SingStar microphone, which is from a video game way back in the day. So like our equipment was very janky, but it's all I had to work with. And at that time, YouTube wasn't what it is now, where everyone has a huge production like Mr. Beast, and they're like basically movies on the internet. This production quality that you're seeing is how all of YouTube basically was. So yeah, just really positive, fond memories of looking back at this video. I love looking back at baby-faced Ellen. I just feel like, oh my goodness, like if she back then, what was that, like 15 years ago, would have known that one day she'd be doing this full time. I keep talking to myself in third person. If I had known that I was gonna eventually be supporting myself with music and like teaching other people music and just like bonding with people from all over the world because of music, like I don't think this me would have ever been able to fathom that I would be sitting here right now making this video. This is a really important video too because this was my very first guitar tutorial that I ever posted online. Before this video, I had done a guitar cover of Goodbye by Miley Cyrus. So it was just me like sitting there playing the guitar, and I remember, I think it was literally just a single comment, like literally one person commented and they said something along the lines of like, how did you play that? Would you ever be able to show us how you played it? So I was like, you know what? I think I can just do a quick tutorial. As you can see, it was very rudimentary. Like all I have is like the chord names on there. I don't think I talked about strumming at all. And these chord names I don't even think are correct because, as you know, I taught myself guitar, and at this point I didn't think anyone would be watching this video, so I was like, well, if I throw in some chord names that I think are correct, no harm, no foul, right? So this is what started me on the trend of like teaching guitar as opposed to actually just like singing songs and being a cover artist and things like that. So unless you've been around for like 15 years, you probably didn't know that way back in the day, I actually used to make karaoke videos myself. I enjoyed singing with other people's karaoke tracks so much that I wanted to do my own. And what I would do is basically learn the guitar part, play it on an audio track all on its own, and then pair it with like the lyrics to the song and just put that out there for anyone who wanted to sing while I played the guitar. The program that I used, I think, was called Audacity, and it was super simple to use. You just plug in some sort of mic into your computer and then you just play, and then you could kind of adjust the sound waves and things like that. I actually had the free version, so I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that you could have done with it, but that was good enough to get me started on these karaokes. As I was able to figure out how to do it easier, I actually really enjoyed making these instrumental tracks and stuff for people, so I actually almost started doing that instead of tutorials at this point. But I'm really glad that I did stick with the guitar tutorial route. But those of you who are patrons know that I actually still do this today. It's one of my favorite pastimes, is to recreate songs. And so I'm really glad that in some ways I like kept on doing this even up until now, 15 years later. And it's just kind of fun to look back at it, how everything started and how everything is now. Oh my gosh. So this was my very first FAQ video that I ever did. I thought for some reason it'd be a really great idea to just lip sync to Miley Cyrus at the beginning of it to be, I don't know, fun or something. I don't know if you can tell with my makeup and stuff. At this point, I was going through that scene phase. I don't know if you guys are old enough or remember this phase, but basically everyone had the big hair, the dark eyeliner. I just remember kind of going through that stage myself. So this is definitely the start of when I started going down the scene route. Just a little fun fact about me. So at this point, I had done a lot of tutorials, not a lot, I had done a few tutorials, some karaoke's, and basically mostly just me like singing. And I remember like getting several of the same comments of people wanting to know more about me as a person. And you know, it didn't come across to my mind back then that maybe it was dangerous to share some of that information to total strangers on the internet. So PSA, if you are not, you know, an adult, maybe be careful with what kind of information you put in like a comment or a video, because people can totally figure things out that way. So just my anti kind of like warning. I guess I just said in the video that I had reached 850 subscribers, and to me that was like a huge milestone at the time. So I just remember being so excited that more than like, you know, like 10 people wanted to watch my videos. So I think this is my first real time of me opening up to people, and it's just awesome to see. Hi guys, my name is Ellen Chang, and I'm so excited to bring you my first original song. So as I said earlier, my initial goal with starting a YouTube channel was to eventually share the music that I wrote myself, and this was my first attempt at like really putting myself out there. I think if you're going to be somebody who posts videos on the internet, you do have to prepare yourself mentally for trolls on the internet or people who have some constructive criticism for you or things like that. There are going to be times where you kind of wish that you hadn't put yourself out there. So this was kind of hard for me to share it but at the same time I was so excited to, because that was the whole goal since starting my channel. This song is called Sweet Memories. If you ask me about it today, I would say it's a little cringy. I think that the lyrics could use some work, you know, but I did write it when I was like maybe 14 or 15, and I think at that age when I wrote it, I thought it was so like romantic and just like meaningful, and I loved the song. But now when I watch it back, I'm a little bit like, oh, like, oh. I think that just shows growth. I think if you don't look back at yourself and cringe a little bit, like maybe you're not growing as a person or as a musician. Nowadays, I think my songwriting skills are a little bit better than this. I actually have a whole playlist of songs that I've written, so let me know if seeing more of my original music is something that you'd be interested in. But basically, this is the very first time that I shared something that I wrote. Took a lot of guts at that time, and I'm really glad that I did it, even though nowadays it's a little bit cringy. So I wanted to highlight this video because I had been doing lots of covers up until this point, but this was the very first cover that I did that got over 100,000 views eventually. Not at this time, it took like a year or two, but I just remember the Miley Cyrus Hannah Montana movie had just come out. Hannah Montana was huge. I was a huge fan myself, and so I went to go watch that movie, and in it, her and her dad sing this song called Butterfly Fly Away, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, that is the cutest song I've ever heard, and I really wanted to learn it, so when I got home, I did learn it. This was me doing my cover, and a lot of the big cover singer people at that time were doing covers of this song, and so I thought I would join and hop on that bandwagon and do my own cover. And I think because I was playing guitar in it, people found it to be a little more interesting or something. This one is the very first video that I got to shoot up to 100,000 views. That's always gonna have a special place in my heart, just because like it wasn't me teaching, it wasn't me doing a karaoke or anything like that. It was literally just me showing people what I enjoy doing, which is singing and playing the guitar, and 100,000 people watched it and enjoyed it, and that just always meant so much to me. So this video is special for so many reasons, one of which is because it's my first time I think I was showing a multi-part cover where I played different instruments. But the other reason this was a special video is because this was actually my submission into the Jonas Brothers singing contest. So in 2009, Jonas Brothers were obviously huge. They had just come out with this song Fly With Me, and basically they were asking people to do their own covers and put them on YouTube, and they would pick their top, I think like 3 or 5 or something, and you would win a little Jonas Brothers like gift basket. I thought I would make myself be a little bit different by showing and videotaping all of my different parts and different instruments, because that way it would kind of help me stand out a little bit compared to the other people who were entering. I did make 3rd place on this one, and so I was able to get a little Jonas Brothers prize. I don't think I ever responded to the email in time, so I never actually received any of the Jonas Brothers merch that I was trying to get, but I do remember that I was like super proud of myself. And so for that reason, I think this is a really special video, because it shows that YouTube was a way to make opportunities for yourself. It was one of the very first contests that I entered in through YouTube. This one's just always going to be a special one because it's something that I did and then actually like won something from, which was amazing at the time. Hey everyone! So I recently put my Jump Then Fall cover by Taylor Swift on YouTube, and a lot of you guys really liked it and asked me to do a tutorial. It was requested like a ton. So I wanted to pinpoint this video for one reason and one reason alone. As most of you know at this point, I am a huge Swiftie. I would identify as a Swiftie. I've been a Swiftie since 2009. This is a special video because this is the very first Taylor Swift tutorial that I ever posted. Little did I know how much traction those Taylor Swift tutorials would get, to the point where I would create a whole separate channel for it one day. If you don't know, by the way, I do have a whole second channel called Taylor Tutorials where I only teach Taylor Swift songs. It's just so funny to think about how many more like tutorials of Taylor Swift's that I would come out with between then and now. Hey everyone, it's Ellen. I wanted to show you guys another original song. So this is going to be one of my all-time favorite videos that I've ever made, not only because it's one of my favorite songs, like original songs that I've written, but like I was saying, YouTube was such a new frontier at that time that I think a lot of entertainment type people were looking to YouTube to kind of find the next big thing, you know, think like Christina Grimmie, stuff like that. Someone reached out to me. They said they were from the E! Network. They really liked my Anything For You song that I wrote, and that they were starting a brand new TV show called Opening Act, and they thought that I might be a good fit for it, and they wanted me to submit this exact video into their TV show, kind of like an audition to get on the TV show. Obviously, I was like completely thrilled, and I was like, is this real? Are you kidding me? Yes, you can have this video. They did use my video to put in front of the panel of judges, and I just remember I was like head over heels because Jason Derulo said that I had a nice smile and that my teeth were really white, and he thought I could be in a Crest commercial. Unfortunately, it never got on TV, but it was more than enough that they sent me that clip so that I could see what they had said about, you know, me. And although it didn't get onto the actual show that aired on the E! Network, you did see part of me like in the intro like credits. They had a bunch of, people from YouTube just like everywhere, and like my little face just popped up and I was just like, oh my God. It was so amazing to see not only my face on TV, but from a song that I wrote. Like, it was so validating. I felt like I was famous. This is about the time too where I started telling my actual family and friends about my YouTube channel. Up until this point, it was totally secret. I didn't tell anyone about it because I was a little embarrassed to admit that I liked to make videos on the internet. Like, back then that sounded very weird, you know? And once this video got, you know, a lot of traction and it was on TV and stuff, that's when I was proud enough of myself to start telling my friends and family what had happened and just sharing that news and things like that.
Hi, my name is Ellen and I'm gonna be singing Bubbly by Colby Calais.
So very shortly, and riding off the high of, you know, me getting on this TV show, at this time, Glee, the TV show, was also really big and had a big following, and they had kind of an open casting call where they were looking for someone to have a guest appearance on one of the episodes of Glee. And all you had to do to enter was really just like submit yourself singing a song to their little like portal thing. And so I actually learned Bubbly by Colby Calais specifically to send this in as an audition for Glee. Clearly, like, nothing ever happened. I never heard back from them. They didn't even respond to say that they got my video or anything, but I did submit it, and I just, like, you know what I mean? This is like one of those things where it's like, if you believe in yourself enough, then just shoot your shot. Like, the worst thing that can happen is someone can say no. You know what I mean? And like, who cares if someone says no? At least you tried. So this was my audition for that, and didn't work out in my favor, but I'm just glad that I did it anyway.
Hi, my name is Ellen and this is Ours by Taylor Swift.
So moving right along, we are now in 2011. This is going to be my senior year of college, and this was my first attempt at doing a multi-part cover where you could see all of my different parts in the different parts of the screen. I think I saw somebody do this, Paint, I think, or something like that. He was getting really popular, and he had a lot of these multi-part covers where he did like that Brady Bunch kind of grid and like sang a bunch of different parts. So I wanted to kind of attempt at doing that. As you can see, like, I clearly didn't know what I was doing with editing because this just looks like a complete mess, but I was able to eventually get all the parts on there. I just think this is kind of one of those videos where I left it up even though it's slightly cringy. I think the editing of it, the production is very cringy, but I think that the actual overall song and everything was cute. So I think I've left it up after all these years because it does show how I grew into making the backing tracks that I have now that are a lot more polished. Like, it started with me in my bedroom, you know, clapping my hands together to make different sounds and things like that. And I don't know, I just think it's a fun way to like look back at my journey. So I'm including this video in here not only because it's my basically only rap cover that I've ever done, but also because this was the first video I put out where I received quite a bit of backlash and hate. I don't know, I think that I rapped it pretty well. Like, I had some rhythm going and I was able to get the words out of my mouth fast enough. I wanted to keep this on here as kind of a learning thing. You aren't always gonna get positive feedback and stuff, but like, that's okay if you just like keep going with what you like to do. Like, I think the people who do appreciate it and do see the potential in you will encourage you to continue. And so hopefully you guys have encouraging people in your life and on YouTube and stuff who will help you like gain confidence in that matter.
Hey everyone, if any of you follow me on Twitter, you probably already know this about me, but I am a humongous Rockets fan.
So this video is another one that's really special to me. So it's 2012 now. I'm probably like in my early 20s, but because I recorded this video in a shirt that says little kid, big Rockets fan, a lot of people who ended up watching this for some reason thought I was really young, like in my teens or something. So I just always thought that was funny. If I could go back and change shirts, like, I probably would. But anyways, this was a song that I wrote for Goran Dragic, who was a player on the Rockets team back in 2012. Me and my dad loved to watch basketball together. We used to like get a little glass of wine and watch our basketball, get angry together when things weren't going our way, get excited together when they were. When Goran Dragic was a free agent at this time, there was all these different teams talking about picking him up and taking him away from the Rockets. So I went through and I wrote a song to Goran Dragic asking him to stay with the Rockets. I did tweet it out to Matt Bullard. I tweeted it out obviously to Goran Dragic. I tweeted it out to the Houston Rockets Twitter. So I just kind of sent it everywhere, hoping that like Goran Dragic himself would see it eventually. Probably maybe a week or so after I posted this, it started to go viral around Houston, and it quickly shot up to 100,000 views. He did see it, he retweeted it, and he even replied to it and said something along the lines of like, wow, what a great song, like thank you for sharing that song. Because Goran Dragic at that time was basically Slovenia's like biggest star, me writing the song asking him to stay was a huge deal over there in Europe. People would start, you know, emailing me and commenting and direct messaging me, telling me that I was like famous over in Slovenia because they were playing my song on the radio. And I was just like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, is that actually true? And so somebody actually sent me like clips of me on their news over there, little snippets of me playing on the radio over there. And it was just freaking amazing. Dream come true. Because if you've ever been somebody who wants to share music with people, like people listening to it is like your ultimate goal, right? It's like your ultimate dream. And so to know halfway across the world in Europe that there's like a whole country almost of people like listening to something that I wrote, like, my gosh, like that was probably one of the biggest highlights of my entire life. And I'm just like so grateful that this whole thing ever happened. It didn't work. He didn't stay with the Rockets. I think he got picked up by the Phoenix Suns after that. But even though Goran Dragic didn't stay on the Rockets team, I think the amount of attention that I was getting from people at that point, and it was so positive, was just such an ego boost for me. And it really made me think that like this is something that I could do, you know, long term. And like, look at me now, like that's exactly what I'm doing. It's crazy to think about. And I have all of the people who have been with me since this time of my life, sharing my videos and all of that stuff. Like I have all of you guys to thank for that. And so I'm so grateful. And yeah, my gosh, this is going to be one of my favorite videos I've ever put out forever. So obviously I have to point out this video because it is the first tutorial, actually my first video ever, regardless of what kind of genre it was. This is my very first video ever to hit 1 million views. And I just remember when it was like hitting that milestone, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? 1 million people have seen this video. Oh, I can't express to you like what that feels like. It feels so surreal. And it was a tutorial, which is kind of like something that was kind of a ding kind of thing in my head, where it's like, this is I think where you should take your channel. You should definitely continue doing tutorials, which is what I've continued to do to this day. But yeah, I wanted to point this one out because it's my very first video to hit 1 million views, and it's just awesome. I can't keep pushing this down any deeper. So this video is not something that I wanted to point out because I'm playing ukulele or anything like that. It's actually one that's kind of important because at this point in my life, I think I had taken quite a bit of a break from YouTube. It was actually because at this time I was suffering from like a skin thing. I thought it was like skin allergies. I ended up going to several doctors to see what this thing was. One of the doctors finally figured out that it was a autoimmune skin disease, and they explained it to me as my white blood cells basically attacking my own skin. And this would happen out of nowhere from either stress or heat, which if you live in Texas with 100+ degree weather, like that's not a good combination. But basically I was struggling back and forth for almost an entire year with just breaking out in rashes and hives and just being absolutely miserable, having to take oatmeal baths and like things like that. And so I kind of like slowed down on YouTube at this point. This was my video to kind of just jump on and be like, hey guys, like I'm still here and I still want to make videos, just not right now. And I'm really glad that I continued, because little did I know, probably 2 to 3 years from now, my channel was going to blow up a little bit. So I'm really glad that I kind of got through that, continued pushing forward with making videos, and kind of went down the route of guitar tutorials specifically, because that was going to pay off in folds, or what is that saying? I don't know what the saying is, but anyways, like that was going to pay off a lot in just a few years from now. So I'm really glad that I continued.
Hi, my name
name is Ellen, and this is my audition video for the Ford Fiesta movement of 2014. So I think I have to backtrack a little bit. I said that one of the other videos earlier was my favorite video, but I have to actually say this is my favorite video of all time that I've ever made. Not only because it's a song that I wrote myself, but because we decided to shoot a little bit of a fun like music video for it, and I included videos that were submitted to me by my subscribers at that time. So I had 25,000 subscribers, so I sent out a video to everybody and I said, hey guys, I'm going to be auditioning for this thing and I would love for you to help me audition by singing a little part. It was astounding the amount of people who actually submitted their videos for me so I could use it in my audition video for this Ford Fiesta movement. Ford came up with their new model of car, which was the Ford Fiesta, and at that time it wasn't popular in the US. I don't think it was even available in the US, so this was kind of like their introduction into the US market. So they wanted to pick 100 agents to drive their car around and basically just help promote that it existed, and I actually did get into the Fiesta movement, which was amazing news. And I got to fly across the country and drive different places and meet all these other YouTubers, some really big names, and there was even like American Idol contestants that were part of this Fiesta movement, as well as like, you know, parkour was like a big thing, so there was like a lot of those like athletes and stuff in it. It was just amazing to be among such high caliber people, and it's all because of my subscribers at that time taking the time out of their day to help me do this audition video. I really think that that's what put it over the edge and had Ford say yes to me as an agent. So I'm just so thankful for everyone who was in this video who is still subscribed to me now. Like, that's amazing, and thank you so much for making all of these awesome dreams come true. Clearly, I could not make a My Journey Through YouTube video without including All of Me by John Legend guitar tutorial. To this day, this is still my most viewed video of all time. This, I think, is the video that helped me just push my channel into a whole different level. This is where a lot of people found me for the first time, and people will still tell me that to this day, like, oh, I remember when I first saw you in your All of Me guitar tutorial. It's just amazing to know that like this was the video that really just helped me gain a new audience and just really help get more eyes on my channel to help it grow. From this point forward, I think is when it started snowballing and just getting a lot more traction to my videos, to my guitar tutorials, making it really more of a legitimate use of my time to make these videos. It was no longer just me making videos for, you know, 25,000 people. This is when it was starting to get into the hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and it was just so crazy to like watch that happen right in front of your face, and just to know that this video is kind of where it started. This is a really special video because I really do think that this is where a lot of my current audience now to this day came from, and so I'm really grateful to all of you guys. Hey everyone, it's Ellen here, and today I have some very exciting news that I wanted to share with you guys. So pardon, I've actually skipped forward so many years. We are now in 2019. Basically between like 2015-16 to 2019, I was just chugging away making tutorial videos, and my channel meanwhile was like really exponentially growing quite a lot. I just remember reaching a subscriber milestone, and then quickly after 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. It just seemed to like really snowball in like that 3 or 4 year time span. I think at that point long form content on YouTube was doing really well, and since my tutorials were like 20 to 30 minutes long, I think that I fit into that mold. It was at the height of its popularity. I remember I would like press post on a video, and then do you remember when YouTube used to like pause the view count because it was like too fast? So I remember it always would like pause at 301 views, like 301 plus, and I'd be like, oh good, it's doing really well. Those were the days, man. Like those were the days to be on YouTube, because that was freaking awesome. In the guitar teaching space community, I do think there's a lot of new faces that have come out, especially during COVID and stuff, so it's much harder to get people to watch your videos, which, by the way, if you go ahead and give this thumbs up and also leave a comment, that would really help me, you know, get this video out to more people. But anyways, coming back to 2019, this is my merch launch video, and this was a really big milestone as well, because I never thought that I'd be one of those YouTubers that had merch that you could buy. When I thought of people who sold merch, I thought of people like PewDiePie and like these really huge YouTuber names. This is through Teespring. They reached out to me via email and said, hey, like you'd be a good person to, you know, try to sell merch on your channel. Have you ever thought about like designing merch? And I remember getting back to them being like, I have no idea what the first thing is about getting started with that. They were nice enough to help me design my merch for the first time for the launch. This is actually, I think, one of the original designs that one of the designers at Teespring helped me create. Felt like such a accomplished YouTuber, because like YouTubers who sell merch are like actual YouTubers, right? Like that's what I felt like at the time. So I just remember this was like such a nice milestone to hit, and I actually do still sell merch. Below this video you should see some of my designs there. It's a great way to help support my channel. I hope you enjoy this collaboration Skype session between me and Guitar Goddess. So for any of you who follow me on any of my social media sites, I know this probably doesn't come as a surprise or anything. Michelle from Guitar Goddess and I are friends, and this is a special video because this is the very first time that we ever collaborated on anything. If you guys don't know Michelle, she's on the Guitar Goddess channel, and she and I had very similar content at that time. We both did a lot of Taylor Swift tutorials as well as just guitar tutorials in general. We're about the same age, you know, we're both women in this space, which is a little bit more rare, especially back then. People kind of saw us as almost like the same type of person. So I did reach out to Michelle via Twitter, and we eventually did this collaboration through Zoom. And then little did I know that one day we would be like friends, like actual friends. Like she's stayed with me at my house, I've stayed with her at her apartment. It's just crazy to think that like from here, which was only not that long ago, 2019-ish or so, to now, like just to know that I have somebody in this kind of industry, like in the YouTube world, that I can talk to about things that other people maybe struggle to understand, as well as like guitar issues, things that we both struggle with being female in this space, like stuff like that. Like it's so nice to have someone to talk to. Plus, the more we talk, the more we realize we're kind of the same person, and we have a really similar backstory, which is crazy and stuff. So it's just so fun, and I'm really glad that I have Michelle and Cody as friends now. I look back at this video fondly because this was kind of the start of that friendship, and it was just really great to kind of see it blossom into what it is today. Hey everyone, it's Ellen here again, and in case you missed my video that I put up yesterday, I'm back. Alright guys, so we're almost caught up with current times. This is February of 2020, so this is right before COVID started becoming a huge deal in the US. One of my favorite things about my husband is that he's always been so supportive of my YouTube channel and the things that, like my dreams that I've always wanted to reach. Like no one in the whole world has ever been as encouraging as Adam is. It had recently been my birthday. My birthday's in December, and he had surprised me with all this equipment to basically set up my own studio. No one had ever like thought about that before. No one had ever encouraged things like that before. Like, you know, from all of my videos in 2016 and stuff, I would basically like turn on a camera and sit on my bed and like teach a video, you know? But like this was the first time that I felt so professional, and it's all thanks to him. So I have to say thank you, Adam, for being so supportive since the get-go. Like no one else has ever done that in my life. This is us setting up my studio with the softbox lighting, the background and everything. And although we have tweaked things a little bit and things are a little bit different, I still basically have the same setup today. I still have the blue background, I still have the box lighting and the microphone. This is kind of like the start of what I like to call like Forever Faithful 2.0, because ever since this time when I came back to YouTube, I basically took all of 2019 off. I didn't post anything. So when I came back in 2020, like this was my restart of my channel. Ever since this point in time, I've had a lot more higher quality videos come out and everything that I'm really proud of. This is just something basically I wanted to share with you guys because it's a milestone, and also just because my husband is amazing, and so I have to say that. So you finally found some time to learn how to play guitar, or at least I'm assuming so since you clicked on my video. Thanks for that, by the way. This is episode 1 of my beginner series here on YouTube. Everyone thought COVID was gonna go away really fast, and then it didn't. A lot of people just had a lot more time on their hands working from home and stuff. So I do think that this video is another significant one on my channel because I do think it brought a whole new audience into my channel. This was kind of a resurgence of like making my channel come back to life a little bit and getting brand new people to come in to watch my videos. Ever since like Forever Faithful 2.0, I think this video is the video that has gotten me to where I am now. I don't think I'd be reaching 900,000 subscribers today if it were not for this video and this beginner series. Not to mention, this is also a pivotal point on my channel because By doing the beginner series, I think it really was more of a shift in mindset. Maybe courses are something that I should pursue and spend a little bit more time on. In fact, I definitely am. I'm so grateful to all of you guys who are new to my channel or who started watching me since my beginner series. You guys have really made such a huge difference, so I just wanted to say thank you. And yeah, definitely one of the biggest milestones. Hey everyone, guess what? I finally launched a Patreon page. So this video is me announcing the launch of my Patreon page. I have to say is one of the biggest things that has made me doing this full-time a possibility. Prior to that, I was still working my full-time job through COVID and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'd been like whispered in my ear a little bit about starting a Patreon ever since like 2016. But in 2021, you know, I really just like went for it and I was like, I think that this could be the pivotal changing point of like me doing this full time. Like if I start this Patreon and if it is successful, like that's a very real possibility for me in the very near future. Adam and I had kind of talked about like goals and like milestone markers of like how many patrons we needed and how much money I needed to make in order to quit my job to do and pursue YouTube full time. And I remember getting quite a few people signing up like right from day one, which was so encouraging. But after I made this video and showed you guys some of the perks that I had lined up and everything, I remember a lot more people signing up, and that was like already mind-blowing because I really didn't think that Patreon could become such a source of income for me. The more I saw people signing up, to the point where I was reaching goal after goal. And those goals are things that you can see in my channel now. The reason why I have more new visual aids is because of my patrons. The reason why my audio and my visuals and everything like studio-wise looks better is because of my patrons. Like I have sound paneling and everything because of them. Even just like being able to quit my job and like do this full time and everything, again, is because of my patrons. I cannot thank you guys enough who have ever been a part of Patreon, whether you are still a patron today or have been in the past. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done to help me get to this point. I know it's such a privilege to be able to say this. I get to wake up every day without a boss, have the autonomy to pick what I want to do that day. If I'm feeling sick or tired, I can take the day off with no consequences, spend all my time doing stuff that I love, making music, teaching music, planning courses, you know, like organizational stuff. I love that kind of stuff. The only reason this is my life right now is because of you guys. Where we started this video back in like 2008 when I started my channel, like who knew? Like who knew that I could be sitting here right now talking about the perks of working for yourself and being a YouTuber full time? It's amazing. So I just wanted to point out this video because this was the start of my Patreon, which would eventually lead to me being encouraged enough to quit my actual daytime job and do YouTube full time. Can you keep up? I made a strumming challenge for all my beginner series folks. So the reason I wanted to point out these types of videos is because this is the direction that I see myself going moving forward. Like I've always loved like the gamified aspect of teaching. I've actually been a teacher like in a classroom before, and one of my favorite lesson plans that I would create is whenever I could add some sort of game like, you know, elements into the lessons, I found that the kids were more engaged, I was more engaged, and overall we just all had a lot more fun. So if there's any way that I can take that into my channel, I 100% want to do it. This was my first attempt at that, my strumming challenge video. If you haven't tried it out for yourself, I would definitely suggest that you try it out. I want to expand on these kind of more video gamey type of interactive real-time lessons. Same with my Practice With Me series. You can just easily click my video and practice with me. That's the kind of stuff that I see myself doing moving forward that I want to put more time and effort into. So if you have any ideas on other things that you'd like to see be more interactive, I'd love to hear them. I definitely want to do more Practice With Me chord transitions. I want to do Practice With Me strumming patterns eventually. This strumming challenge, I want to make harder levels of it. And just to let you know, like that's kind of where I see myself heading in this YouTube world. And that brings me into my most recent video post as of filming, which was my Kiss the Girl by Disney's Little Mermaid guitar tutorial. But I do think another reason why maybe so many people enjoy my videos is because of those visual aids. In fact, I've done polls and you guys have told me that's one of the biggest reasons why you enjoy my videos. So that's definitely something I want to lean into more and just like get really like nailed down. The ultimate result looks so clean and polished. I love the way that it looks. Hopefully you guys do too, and hopefully it's easy to learn from. The culmination of everything that we've talked about today has led to this video, which I'm very, very proud of. This is just an example of the type of quality of video that you can expect from me moving forward. This is what I have now, and like if you look back at my very first tutorial, like what a difference. I'm just so proud of like how far we've come, and all of it is thanks to you guys who are sitting here right now watching this video. Thank you for making it to the end. If you are a subscriber, or if you ever comment on my videos or like them, or if you're a patron or just someone who like casually watches, like thank you so much. You have no idea what a huge difference it's made in my life, and how grateful I am for this opportunity to be sitting here and celebrating 900,000 subscribers with you guys. If you can't tell, I'm losing my voice because I've been talking all afternoon. I hope to eventually make another one of these years from now. Hopefully YouTube is still going strong, and hopefully I am as well. You never know what the future holds. All we can do is just keep on going with what we're doing and hope for the best, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So thank you again so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed, you know, reminiscing with me. Love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video coming out really soon. Bye. Thank you.